this new coaching tool is actually called Under Your Surface. And there's a little second line, isn't there? Dot, 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 what's down there, which I love. And I know that this is a very special thing that you've come up with now. It's very special to you. And it's important for you to share this. So could you tell everyone why you're feeling the need to share this so much and how it's so important for you?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Under Your Surface is a confident life coaching tool that came about after my own personal experience with my own husband, who came into difficulty in his life using alcohol. And I eventually realized that there was and had been stuff going on down there, deep down in the gut, that was never able to be discussed or shared. And later I realized the benefit of my work as a confidence coach, and in fact, Nadine, our work together in the discussions we have about how to live a confident and calm life, that when you are willing to go deep down, what I call under your surface, then what happens is things can get released out. And that's where the confidence comes in, the sense of selfness comes in, and eventually you can live a confident and calm life. Now, this is a long process, a long journey. It's strange, it's scary, it's emotional, and frankly, Nadine, it's hard. And most people live what I call above the surface. So let me describe here. The surface to me is the heart. And so basically under the surface is the heart and gut space. Above the surface is the head space. And so that is just a little bit about how this coaching tool came about. It is embedded into all the work I do, whether or not someone is a formal client, as you have mentioned yourself, Nadine. Going deep is not scary for me. Going deep offers me comfort, and I know it offers other people an opportunity to share and reveal in a safe and sacred space.
It so does. And I'm so grateful for how much you have helped me and continue to help me. And you naturally, you are the confidence coach. You naturally boost people's confidence. It's just in you, the way that you speak to people. But you do encourage people to dig deeper. You're not afraid of it, like you say yourself. You live it, you are that person, and you encourage it in other people. You've done it for me so much. And I know you do it for other people. And this is where it is so, like you just said, we are existing a lot of the time in our heads.
Yeah.
We all know about going into our heart center and doing that, but you go that little bit deeper and it's into that bit below the surface, isn't it? And this is what I love so much, because you're not afraid of that. And you do, it's an overused term, but you're holding people's hands to do that with them, aren't you? And this is where this coaching tool with you at the helm is so beautiful, isn't it? And I know it's come about from your own personal experience, your own personal sorrow, if you like, and you're building your confidence. And it's so wonderful that you're sharing this with everyone, because you are the best person to do this from what you've been through. So
Thank you.
I honestly love it. And I just want to say about part of it, we talked about, we're going digging a bit deeper and everything. But you invite people to, part of it is actually sharing stuff that they're maybe not comfortable with sharing, um, maybe talking about things, saying things to people that they not maybe want to say but don't know how to say. And that, again, that's digging deep just on that topic, isn't it? Going, there is something maybe you want to say, let's think about that, let's dig deeper on that. And actually not giving away too much of your tools. This is how you do it, isn't it? You've done it with me, through all of my experiences. You have helped me so much to go, I say things to you personally, don't I? And then you go, well, let's talk about that publicly. Let's do it. And I always go, I'm not sure. That comes from my old patterns, my old habits, the way I was brought up, feelings of shame, that kind of thing, which I think other people probably feel too. but I'm living proof that you have helped me to share, to get things out, to say things I wouldn't say in public. And I'm not saying everyone has to do it in public, but it's nice to share, isn't it? And it's so beneficial. And the way that I have been helped by actually saying things out loud when I wouldn't have done is so beneficial. I can't even explain to people, but I'm just saying it because it's so true. Now, part of that is learning to love yourself, which again is part of how you help people build their confidence and be able to use their voice. So can I ask you to again share with everyone why loving yourself is such an important part of this for you?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, the journey to self-love was part of my own early journey, spiritual journey. I call it journey to the light. You know, Nadine, every single thing I speak about, I teach, I write about, the basis of my coaching, I have learned myself. I have learned from my own experiences. I have heard from others. You and I have discussed in the past, investing in education for yourself. And so, but in my spiritual journey to what I call deepness, willing to be deep, I learned how much little souls, children, take on everything, what I call the ocean that they swim in. You're in the 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years of your life, and you're just sitting there like a soul absorbing, like a sponge absorbing the water of the ocean that you're swimming in. This coaching tool is the iceberg tool. It may be familiar to people. I'm certainly not the one who devised or divined this tool, but I'm using it myself as a part of my Confident Life coaching work. And so the small part of the iceberg that you see above the surface is a tiny little tip, right, of the iceberg. And under the surface is the whole big iceberg that we can see in our mind's eye that we're familiar with. And regarding the part about self-love, under the surface, from a very, very young age, there's questions that start building in the child mind, and then the growing cognition of things that we experience that seem to the child like, I'm not loved. Now, these things might be predatory. They might be predatory. They may be, violent. They may be emotionally destructive by people who are very stressed. But even if somebody has what they might consider a normal childhood, not that there's any such thing, still, in loving, beautiful homes where there's complete commitment to the child's growth and evolution, the parents or other adults in the room are stressed, Nadine, because of all these things that we talk about. And what happens is that's what builds up under the surface. And there's the consciousness or sensibility that I'm not lovable when somebody yells at me. If somebody says something mean to me, even if there's no malicious intent by a stressed parent or certainly a sibling, the sense of self, the sense of selfness, that is the place of the soul as I teach it, gets damaged. And so the part about loving oneself, and whenever I say the word self, there's a capital S, is absolutely a basic tenet of personal confidence, living a life of fulfillment, because we're often, unfulfilled. And that starts with the sense of self and being able to love myself for who I am, what I do, how I am, what I say, what I think, etc. This is often taken away from us when we're very young through no malicious intent, just by just by being human. And then under the surface, these messages begin to fill in, and then they sit down, they're roiling even as we come into our adulthood. So, hands on the heart, sense of self, loving myself as I am is exactly one of the basic tenets of this coaching tool, Under Your Surface.
So beautiful. That really, I can really feel that. And you speak with such passion because it is your life's work, isn't it? It's what you do for yourself, and you are so good at doing it for others. And it's one of those things, isn't it? Love yourself. We say it all the time, we hear it all the time. And so many people, myself included, at one point, go, I don't know how. And
Yeah.
this is part of what you do. Your coaching tool is here to help people, but this is what you do at your core, isn't it? You help people to recognize all of the things that you just said, where it comes from, what it feels like, what we can do about it, and how we can grow. And this is why working with you is so, so valuable, isn't it? And this new coaching tool is just, it's much more defined, isn't it, with this purpose of getting down that, like you say, under the surface.
Yes, and
bringing it up. Yeah.
as part of this work, I use my Dear Younger Self thesis. I have a book published called Dear Younger Self, and then the next book is called Dear Future Self. So as part of this work, I do my Dear Younger Self thesis, my Dear Future Self thesis. And the thing that I want people to learn from this very conversation today is, if it's too hard to say I love myself, as it was for me, I was never able to say that in my early days. That wasn't even a thing for me. Then I invite you to consider the words my sense of selfness, my selfness. And that is where we have so much opportunity and so much growth. And as you and I are living proof, when you begin to break through these old constructs that are happening under the surface, and you begin to open up and release these things, it's good, Nadine, isn't it?
Oh, it so is. And this is the thing, we are living proof, aren't we? So I hope people can get that sense of that, because, you do the work for yourself continually. You support me in doing it. So I'm doing it continually, and it shows. So again, we invite people to look back at our old podcasts, and you can see the changes, can't you? You can really see the growth.
Yeah.
If you want more proof, it's there, isn't it? So in all of our wonderful conversations. Now, another thing that I know is so close to your heart, you talk about emotional legacy, which I love. I love. Got to be honest, when I first heard it, I didn't know what it meant. So again, I know in your coaching tool, and I know you won't mind me sharing it, you have some little tools, you've got lots of journaling prompts, you've got lots of things, the way that you help people, encourage people to work, which is brilliant. But one of the bits where you say, and it's something I have said as a mantra almost, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, goodbye. Now, I've said that very lightheartedly, but if you say that in meditation, which I've done, and it's a bit of, really meaning that, saying it to others, saying it to yourself as well, they are powerful if you do that. And I know if you're working with someone, it's something you can work on quite a lot, and you do move emotionally through this, don't you? Your forgiveness is quite tough, like we've just said. Loving yourself, loving others, saying thank you is tough, and letting go is tough, but you really can help people with those points, can't you? So again, emotional legacy, what does that mean to you? What are you offering people here?
Yeah, I want to take a moment to show people what the coaching tool actually looks like, so that we can talk about emotional legacy. You can see the picture of the iceberg. You can see there's a question above the surface, questions below the surface. You can see there's a space for your thoughts. You can see there's questions to answer. And so this is such a beautiful, simple tool to use, even on your own, and certainly in conjunction with coaching. when you go through this process of a very few pages of these kinds of deep questions, the last part of the tool that we work on is what I call emotional legacy. Now, if you know me, my website is whatwillyourlegacybe.com. This is something that I started saying in 2004, a phrase that I would talk to people. I had to put on a business card and so forth. And in 2010, I got the domain name and I have kept it all this time. People think that their legacy is about their children. But I learned a long time ago, first of all, A, everybody doesn't have children, and B, your children, things could go awry in their lives, which might have a reflection on you if you think of them as your legacy. So I don't work in that realm at all, but rather legacy to me, what will your legacy be, is about you and how you show up in life. How you show up in life. Now, you and I, Nadine, I encourage people to find our podcast. We'll put a note in the comments and see the journey where we started and to where we are now. And who knows, we'll see where we go in the future. But what you do, who you are and how you are, if you live in above the surface way, does not always go well for you under the surface. And so really it's the emotional legacy, it's the feeling space. So to me, the emotional legacy is how people actually experience you from how you feel, which is what you emote and emanate. So I say this to people all the time. You are emanating, right? Maybe through your words or your sense of self. And, we call it energy. When people come into your existence, if you're mad, sad, angry, resentful, humiliated, in deep, dark, dense shame, in depression or whatever, or high anxiety in the bad way, then that's emanating off you. And people are like this a little bit, right? But if you are in a calmer space, if you have a connected sense of selfness, right? If you can take your hands, put your thumbs to your heart or put your hands on your heart, if you can have a calm breath, if you can have a good sense of self, then you're feeling better, right? You don't have that feeling in your stomach. You can long, slow, deep breath and easy breath. And then what's emanating off you is more gentle. It's gentle, and people want to be in your existence. And so in order to get to the emotional legacy that you want to leave, I have, as you said, the question, to whom might you say, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I forgive you, or goodbye. All of these things are often under the surface, stuffed down there, unable to come out, Nadine. When I work with people in this coaching tool, the work is, my package is over 6 months. We work together 3 weeks. And the fourth week, I offer writing prompts, and I encourage the person to do writing because writing also releases. And when we get to the part about the emotional legacy, honestly, Nadine, there is just plain relief. And so that's a little bit about emotional legacy.
I can really feel that just as you're saying that. There is relief, there's lightening of the heart, isn't there? We need that. And we quite often need someone to help us to reach that, and you can do that. And I'm so glad you explained there how that works, because I was going to ask you, is it working with you over a period of time? And you've just beautifully explained that. So thank you for that. So
before you go on, I just want to say that I've been coaching for nearly 10 years now. And my experience working with hundreds of people over a decade is that working together weekly in accountability is the only way to create change. It's the only way. People say, work together once a week for 6 months. Friends, I've worked together once a week for 3 years. with people. And so because we grow and deepen and change and morph, and then we're like, oh, now we can do this, now we can do this, now we want to do that. And so that's the only way I work with people.
I agree with you 100%. We need that accountability. It's scary. We don't want to commit. But this is what you give people as well, isn't it? You know, if you do that, you're going to do the work and you're going to get the results. So it is committing and it is accountability. So thank you for giving everybody that, because that's what we need. So you've explained it beautifully. I know that we you know, there's lots more we could talk about, but people need to experience this for themselves. So we've talked about it. What do you want people to do now that they've heard about this tool, this Under Your Surface coaching tool? What do you want people to do now they've heard about it?
I want people to ask themselves, how do I feel? I want people to ask themselves, how am I doing? How am I feeling? And honestly, even as I say this, I feel emotional at how much people live in this small space above the surface, and how much captured, stressed emotion and difficulty is what I call under the surface from experiences they've had through no fault of their own. I'm really here to say that there is hope and hopefulness to be able to live a life where you're actually comfortable in your own skin. And I want to say, I understand, you know, when people look at me, they see a certain thing now. The me of 25 years ago was not this. And same with you, Nadine, and really with everyone. But some people live their whole lives in this stressed place. And that's what I want people to do, is ask themselves, how am I feeling? And then go deeper, you know, how am I really feeling? And if I was brave enough, courageous enough to go below the surface and to ask myself deep questions, you know, would I be able to do that? Is it too scary for me to reveal incest, predation, molestation, anger, you know, mean words even that got captured in me, unrequited desires? You know, I wish that, but that would never happen for me. You know, can you go there? And that's what I really want people to understand, that when we do go below the surface, I can work with people to help them, you know, go down a more gentle slope. But even if, you know, they'd want to just journal some of these questions for themselves and, you know, do the inner work, that's what I want people to do as a result of seeing this question. Ask themselves, how do I feel under my surface? And then coming back up, how do I want to live the next period of my life? Do I want to live under the surface? Is that the only thing that I can hope for? Or might I be willing to break through and really live in a different skin, be more comfortable, confident, and calm in my life? And if that's the case, I can help them with that.
You certainly can. I can tell, everyone can hear from your voice the passion, the emotion, and this is real. You really, really can help people, because you do. You do it for yourself, you do it for me, you do it for others. And I really want people to feel that, because when you do ask that question properly, I defy anyone not to get emotional, because it's deep and it is emotional. And this is where the support that you give is so vital. And I just want to sort of round up a little bit with how you talk about yourself sometimes, Susan, because I totally agree with it and I love it. And I really want people to share this. You say about yourself that you are a glorious crone. I love it. Sharing wisdom, living without fear, and feeling peace in your heart. And I get chills when I say that, because this is you, 100%. You say it as it is. You're not afraid to use your voice. You're absolutely right in every sense. So you created this world for yourself in your life and your business, and you can help others. So I want to say to everybody now, are you ready to discover the you under your surface? And if you are, or if you just think you are and you want a bit of help, Susan is who you need to speak to, and this coaching tool is just perfect. So thank you for sharing this with us today, Susan. I know you're going to help so many people.
Thank you so much, Nadine. I have a coaching package on my website. My website is whatwillyourlegacybe.com. You can click on coaching and services and look for the Under Your Surface tool. And if you're intrigued by this, contact me and let's talk. Thank you, Nadine. Love you, friend.
Thank you so much. Everyone needs to do this.